But there are many of the families, close to 80 to 90, which are yet to be shifted.
80 to 90 yet to be shifted, about 600 houses that have been marked. Nikhil Lakhwani getting us all the details, the Chief Minister chairing a very important meeting. Joshimath continues to remain our top focus here on CNN News 18. It's a wrap from my side. Anand Narasimhan joins you with the nation at 5.
This is also the visual that we are showing you from outside one of the hotel at the start of the Joshimath town. Clearly you can see that these are huge cracks. Line of the crack. This is something which is very serious and needs kind attention of the central and the state government at the same time.
Namaste, you're on the Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narasimhan coming to you live from the newsroom here at CNN News 18. Our top focus remains the concern for the residents of Joshimath. This hill town very critical in its position and its place on the route to the India-China border along the line of actual control, and also perhaps the pit stop for the Char Dham Yatra. Is the Char Dham project somewhere responsible for what Joshimath and its residents face, or is it also negligence on part of the local authorities who have allowed perhaps construction on these areas and in various regions, which has also allowed it to become perhaps vulnerable to the threats of the forces of nature? Or is it the repeated landslides that have ravaged inclement weather over 2020, 21, 22? That is also the reason why Joshimath is suffering or staring at perhaps absolute disaster. There are pleas which are now perhaps knocking the doors of the Honorable Supreme Court, wanting this to be called a natural and an ecological disaster. There are others who are also wanting the blame pinned on certain elements and certain aspects of development, the story. There are others who are busy playing politics, but we will focus on the developments right now on ground. Even as we speak, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Prime Minister's office have taken cognizance of this entire development in and around Joshimath, and they have intervened. They have had consultations, not just with the NDRF, SDRF, but along with the State Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami. So all of these NDRF teams have been sent there, SDRF teams have been sent, they have reached. There are families who have already been evacuated, around 60 families have been evacuated, 90 more families need to be evacuated from clearly the dangerous zones or the danger zones. And even as we speak, there is a fresh round of meeting and consultations that have been undertaken by the Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami with the NDRF, SDRF teams to get a brief of what is going on. We must tell you there is history to this, ladies and gentlemen. In October 2022, even before that, concerns have been raised. Geological experts have also been monitoring how the development is, and its repeated landslides, which has rendered the entire area loose, and with the possibility of a major slide and the entire town itself sliding down towards nothingness. And that is perhaps the danger that is witnessed or which is present there with these cracks, which only seem to be widening by the day. We'll go across to our reporters live, but have a look at these reports from ground.
We are currently reporting from the Joshimath of Uttarakhand, where cracks are seen at different parts in this particular town. You can see that the team of NDRF, they are already doing their work, and also the locals of the Joshimath town, they are currently shifting their goods to the safer locations. As per the details, the district administration had made sure that all the people who are affected, they are, they are said to be shifted at nearby rescue camps, which have been made by the district administration. Close to 4 to 5 safe houses have been made by the administration. So the rescue work is already underway. But this is also the visual that we are showing you from outside one of the hotel at the start of the Joshimath town. Clearly you can see that these are huge cracks which are now seen on CNN News 18. This is the line of the crack. This is something which is very serious and needs kind attention of the central and the state government at the same time. This is the reason why we have seen that a couple of high-level meetings have already been done by all the officials. So the residents of this particular location, they are already scared. This is the reason why the relocation of the work is underway. Here at this particular place, you can see that the vehicle is being used. There are multiple vehicles which are being used to transfer the goods. So all these people, they are set to be shifted to the nearby safer location, and because of the fear of caving in, because of the fear of the sinking in of this particular town, the people are now out on the roads. They are out on the terraces until the restoration work is being done. This is something which is a cause of concern for the state and the central government at the same time. But what is the permanent solution which is going to be given to the residents? This is something which the government needs to address at the earliest.
देखिए, हमने सभी लोगों से अनुरोध किया है कि ये समय सबको मिलजुल कर जोशीमठ को बचाने का समय है। सब लोग एक टीम के रूप में काम करें, सभी लोग मिलकर, सरकार है, सामाजिक संगठन है, राजनीतिक संगठन है, हमारी सबकी पहली प्राथमिकता है कि जोशीमठ शहर बचना चाहिए और लोगों की जान माल की सुरक्षा होनी चाहिए। जहां सभी लोगों से मैंने मिलकर भी वैसे भी अनुरोध किया है और लोग लगे भी हैं, सब लोग अब इस काम पर लग गए हैं और जो खतरे की जद में आने वाले 68 मकान थे उन सभी को शिफ्ट किया गया है और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी भी लगातार इसकी समीक्षा कर रहे हैं, लगातार व्यक्तिगत रूप से वो जानकारी ले रहे हैं और उन्होंने हर संभव यहाँ पर मदद का हमको सहायता का आश्वासन दिया कि हर प्रकार से सहायता होगी।
जोशीमठ के क्षेत्र में अभी हमने नगरपालिका क्षेत्र में और नियर बाय एरियाज में अभी सभी निर्माण कार्य अग्रिम आदेशों तक हमने अभी रोक लगा रखी है। जो भी लोग अस्थायी रूप से विस्थापित हो रहे हैं हमारे नगरपालिका में, गुरुद्वारे में और होटल्स में जो रिलीफ कैंप स्थापित किए गए हैं, सभी को ड्राई राशन किट्स के माध्यम से रिलीफ सामग्री दी जा रही है और लगातार हमारे सेक्टर अधिकारी, प्रभारी अधिकारी उसका निरीक्षण कर रहे हैं कि और लोगों से बात कर रहे हैं कि कोई भी कमी अगर परिलक्षित होती है तो उसका तत्काल निराकरण किया जाएगा।
बहुत चिंताजनक है, विस्फोटक स्थिति तक चिंताजनक है। किसी समय भी सारा ढांचा कोलैप्स कर सकता है। प्रकृति चेतावनी दे रही है और हम उस चेतावनी के अनुरूप आचरण नहीं कर रहे हैं। एक ही तरीका है कि जोशीमठ को दूसरी जगह बसाया जाए, नया जोशीमठ बनाया जाए और पुराने जोशीमठ का ट्रीटमेंट किया जाए और यहाँ के प्रभावित परिवारों को बद्रीनाथ की तर्ज पर जो है मुआवजा दिया जाए और उसमें व्यवसायिक लोग भी हैं जो किराए आदि पर रह रहे हैं, उनको भी उसमें सम्मिलित माना जाए।
Dr. Anil Joshi, founder of HESCO, with us. But first we'll go across to Nikhil Lakhwani, who's down on ground in Joshimath. Nikhil, even as we speak, a team of the CBRI, the Central Building Research Institute, has reached Joshimath to inspect the affected area and submit its report to the state government. If you see, the former Chief Minister Harish Rawat has come out and said that Joshimath should be completely evacuated, a new Joshimath should be built, and all the work around the Char Dham project should be halted. There are allegations on NTPC, and NTPC has come out and said none of their work is responsible for this subsidence. There are geologists who are saying that it is repeated landslides which has rendered this entire topsoil very, very shaky, because of which you are finding these cracks. What is the assessment on ground? How dangerous is it? And with each passing hour and each passing day, are these cracks widening? Is there risk of some of these houses in the next few hours actually sliding away?
Well, Anand, at some places the cracks are widening, but at other places the difference between the two buildings are becoming almost negligible. We would start to say with the visuals on the left of our side, these are the buildings. These are in fact two of the hotels which are located at the start of the Joshimath. And clearly, Anand, you can see in the visuals that the difference between the two hotels is now almost negligible. And if you see at the front of this particular hotel, there are serious cracks which can now be seen clearly clearly on the screen of CNN News 18. And now the officials are mulling as to what to do next as far as the cracks are concerned, because there are few properties which are not only in danger condition, but if they fall down, if any, then the damage will be caused to other properties as well. This is the reason why mulling is taking place as to whether to demolish these kind of premises or not. This is something which is part that will follow by all the officials, but also you can see at the same time that the restoration work and at the same time the transfer of the goods is taking place. The people are shifting to different safer location relief camps which have been set up by the state government in accordance with that of the district administration. This is the you can see this is the good which is now present outside this particular hotel, and there is nearby residential address as well. And as far as the cracks are concerned, Anand, you can see these are the cracks which are widening day by day, and also there are many of the places which are not just residential in nature but also commercial properties, religious properties. At the same time, there are government institutions as well where the cracks have been seen, where the cracks have been reported, and multiple agencies are working on the ground zero, Anand. If we go by the details, a team of NDRF, SDRF, NDMA, they have already been dispatched to the Joshimath town in Uttarakhand. But apart from it, to study as to what is the exact reason behind the cracks, behind the sinking in of the Joshimath, this is the reason why a team of officials from the IIT, Roorkee, Seismology Department, Geology Department, they have also been sent to Joshimath to ascertain as to what are the exact reasons. But also if we talk about the evacuation plan, 4 to 5 relief houses have been planned, makeshift houses have been planned by the government, but there are so far 70 of the families which have been shifted, but close to 80 to 90 families are yet to be shifted.
But these are their life's worth in terms of this is their livelihood, this is where they live their lives, and this is their all of that they own, these homes, these shops and these establishments, even the hotels, restaurants, etc. And Joshimath has its own significance at various levels as far as Char Dham Yatra is concerned, or even as perhaps an important point between the India-China border or towards the India-China border. Dr. Anil Joshi, what would you put your finger on? Do you think it's the development projects, or is it force majeure, the repeated landslides, and of course the ecological erosion that is happening because of concretization of this entire region?
Let me tell you first that Joshimath, we are observing today what is all happening around. Let me tell you, it is 2-3 decades ago only, 9 kilometers before Joshimath, there is a village called Anmat and Pani. There are 2 villages which were sinking 2.5 decades ago. And also, beyond Joshimath, there is the Saldhar village after the rainy disaster which came last year. Then after this, Saldhar village also began to sink. Exactly what is happening in Joshimath, Saldhar had also been facing the same. Also, I am to add that I don't think there is much science to understand in it, because if once you know the science of nature, you are going beyond the nature bearing capacity, and this is the reason. And Joshimath has opened an eye for all of us. The most important is we shouldn't forget that the whole Himalaya is settled on a debris which came sometime in 500 million years ago, 50 million years ago. Now the only thing that needs to be understood is that this may happen, it widening, but the nature is a healer by itself also. In a course of time, if you take a right action, right decision, I think things will improve later on. But currently, the more important situation is that people have to evacuate it. Let me give you one very important fact too. Last year, after the rainy disaster, I sent a letter to the request letter to this High Court that requesting that when 1,000 meter above, Supreme Court has said no forest felling will be allowed. Then why? The Supreme Court has said it because the reason is precise. So why other construction activities are allowed? I sent a letter requested to the High Court that was accepted as a suo motu by the High Court, and there are likely to be hearing on that. The whole thing one need to be understood. Why Supreme Court denied 1,000 meter above the forest felling? Why don't we take another construction that we are making? So it is only because of heavy construction, and also I would say we also, local being, should have also realized that what is the capability, capacities, and then also in case of Joshimath, there are issues
Right.
of drainage also. So this is unfortunately the lack of understanding ecosystem ecology. Oh, Joshimath has opened eye, and I think this is here now. We
Right.
begin with that. How much the mountain should, how the mountain should be taken from the development point of view. We do not deny development; it has to be there. But understanding the ecosystem and ecology is important first.
Well, you do make a point there that there should be development, but it cannot be unbridled, and all sorts of caution have to be taken. Quickly, I just want to ask you, Dr. Anil Joshi, is it also possible that when certain surveys are made, and then if there is inclement weather and some landslides happen, does that then change the entire geological construct itself? And does that rework happen? Is it possible that so many houses could be affected because some development project is going on somewhere? Or is it a combination of multiple factors? Final question, sir.
Multiple factor. It's a multiple factor. There is a how we cannot deny the roads, and the road had always been in the mountain, up on the mountain. The only way making a road has to be understood. It cannot be with the machines only. Earlier roads we used to make manually, but today we have been using a lot of machines. So that is one fact. And another is that you cannot, you know that above 1,000 meters being very fragile, small hydropower station that we are building, they may also are the factor. So it is a multiple factor. One cannot say top of the Joshimath, which is about 300-400 above the Alaknanda, which is cutting the toe all the time because the floods keep on coming on those rivers. So it is, in fact, could have thought of it while doing that, but unfortunately we do not have that bearing capacity limitation kind of a study, which I think it has to be done in all hill towns.
Right.
And
this Alaknanda project is a very significant one in terms of providing huge amounts of not just electricity and other resource in terms of development for that entire region. It is very, very critical. But somewhere the balance has to be struck, and perhaps Joshimath is a message that you need to go back to the drawing board and study the entire aspect once again, and perhaps look at all configurations and possibilities, and more importantly what weather can do, what landslides can do, and can they alter calculations altogether. So it is in this entire man versus nature thing, there are lives that are at stake that we are looking at. Thank you very much, Dr. Joshi. I have to move on at this point. We're moving to a big story coming through right now. It's breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where the immovable property of an OGW has been seized in Shopian under the UAPA Act. As per the cops, Usman Gulzar Wani provided shelter and other assistance to local terrorists. Tejinder Sodhi now joins us with more details. So now crackdown on the OGW network, where immovable property now being seized under the UAPA Act. So message going to these OGWs also that we'll come after you just as we are going after terrorists.
Yes, Anand, if you remember when the Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha had that exclusive interview, you interviewed him, he had said that his aim is not only to kill only the terrorists, but also to ensure that the entire ecosystem of terrorism is uprooted from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And now steps are being taken towards uprooting that entire ecosystem, the entire support structure of these terrorists. And as you know that the OGW network is the backbone of terror infrastructure in Jammu and Kashmir, and now action has been initiated against these OGWs. Today we are told, and we have the order copy with us, which clearly show that the police has attached the immovable property of one of the OGW in the Hasanpura Nagbal Imam Sahab area of Shopian. This OGW has been identified as Gulzar Wani, and he is involved in several terror activities, providing shelter and other assistance in the area to the terrorists. He is instrumental in helping the terrorists to carry out several terror attacks in the Shopian area, and now acting tough against him, the authorities have seized his immovable property in the area. Yes, Anand.
Well, stay with us, Tejinder. We got more inputs on this, not just the crackdown on OGWs, but also empowering and setting up of the village defense committees. So there is input on that, where in the wake of the attacks, sources say that CRPF has now been tasked to train the VDCs in the Rajouri-Poonch area. The Jammu and Kashmir police will identify the VDC who could be trained. Consultation is on if more CAPF companies also need to be sent towards Rajouri-Poonch. 18 CRPF companies were deployed last week. And even when there is a certain amount of politics with the VDCs and with some netas making some statements, the clarification coming through that there will be a huge security vetting of those people who will be trained in arms and weaponry at the VDC level. Tejinder.
Indeed, Anand, the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, when he went to Dangri after that massacre of Hindus by the terrorists, by the Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists in the Dangri village of Rajouri, Manoj Sinha, the Lieutenant Governor assured the people, because people there, they were demanding the revival of the VDCs, because the successive governments in Jammu and Kashmir, they had diluted the VDCs. The VDCs played an active part in eradicating or fighting terrorism in the bordering areas, districts of Poonch, Rajouri. And now we are told that the CRPF has been tasked to train the VDC members in both Poonch and Rajouri. Right. Jammu and Kashmir police would identify the VDC members, and the CRPF 18 companies of which have already been deployed in Poonch and Rajouri, they would be training the VDC members who use latest arms and ammunition in fighting terrorism in the area. Yes, Anand.
Right, thank you for your inputs, Tejinder. Moving on, and more news coming through, and this is day 11 or 12 of the protests in Gilgit-Baltistan, and that entire region is up. There is huge furor there, and protests across multiple regions, be it Gaizer, be it Hunza, be it Skardu, in regions of Gilgit, as the fury continues against illegal seizures by the Pakistan army. Protesters are even braving the cold to agitate against the Pak government for the 11th straight day, fuming against illegal taxes and rising power prices. Anti-Terror Act was imposed on nearly 40 youth of Gilgit Manawar for protesting for their rights. Protesters have demanded autonomy, abolition of illegal taxes and direct rights in the National Assembly, as well as representation in the Senate. They have also asked for the Skardu-Kargil route to be sent open and reduce the army footprint in this entire region. So clearly, huge demands being made, and the protests continue unabated for the 11th straight day, with the number of people stepping out only increasing, braving the biting cold and raising their voice against the hard action of the Pakistani army, who have been seizing territory and property which belongs to the locals and trying to use them for their own nefarious purpose. Pathikrit Pine now joining us. Pathikrit, day 9 on Friday, we had covered this story. We are into day 12, and these are pictures from day 10 and 11. Over the weekend, these protests have only intensified across about 6 to 7 different areas in Gilgit-Baltistan.
Anand, this is one part of the larger plot of the game that is being played out in Balochistan, where one of the key reasons for all these protests is because of the legacy of issues related to how the Chinese were allowed to take over land or the Gwadar port, and tremendous restrictions that were imposed on the people of Balochistan, even on fishing and other activities. For a long period of time, Anand, Balochistan has been usurped and looted by people of Punjab in Pakistan, and Balochis had no role to play. Today, the Balochis have realized that today they have the power to speak up. One of the key reasons for that is because they realize that the Pakistani federal government is on the back foot on several areas. In fact, you will see protest is one dimension of their furor that is being projected. The other is definitely the manner in which Tehrik-e-Taliban is now co-opting all the Baloch liberation organizations to wage attack against Pakistani government. So overall, if you look at it, inflations, stranglehold and tortures and persecution by the Pakistani government are now being retaliated through protest, and also a large number of terror attacks which have been done by Balochis on the Chinese assets in that region. So this is only a built-up happening eventually it will implode into large number of more terror attacks and Taliban and Baloch organizations, eventually leading to a large number of terror attacks, not just in that region, but in the heartland of Punjab province as well.
Right. From Pak-occupied Jammu and Kashmir to this region of Gilgit-Baltistan and the region of Gilgit-Baltistan, let's quickly move on to what's happening in Pakistan itself. The big news coming through, harassment of minorities continues in Pakistan. A video has gone viral showing a female Christian security officer being threatened with blasphemy for doing her job. This incident occurred at the Karachi's Jinnah International Airport, and this is in the cargo bay, the cargo area. The row over the female security officer reprimanding a man for allowing an acquaintance's vehicle through security without a vehicle pass. The man threatened the female officer with blasphemy accusations and violence. He said he will call clerics and get her chopped into pieces. But the security officer continues to hold her ground. Have a look at this entire sequence.
रिसीविंग तो होगी ना कोई देखिए मेरी बात इसका अगर मैंने गाड़ी रोकी है तो सलीम साहब कह रहे हैं झूठे तुमने गालियां के केस में अब ये तौहीन रसालत के केस में बंद करवाएंगे तो आपकी गाड़ी अंदर जाएगी वरना नहीं जाएगी आप गाड़ी निकालें वरना मैं एपीएम को कॉल लगा दूंगी गाड़ी निकालें आप और जिसने जो केस करवाना करवाए इस मुल्क में तुम लोगों के पास यही है आप लोगों के पास यही है कि चलो ये क्रिश्चियन है इसको हम ना तौहीन रसालत में जलील करते हैं तो कर दो
इज्जत होती है खाना पीना मरना जीना सब कुछ है हाँ उसमें तुमने एक इशू उठा लिया एक आदमी की इज्जत होती है
चलो आप लोग सारे ना लिख के दे दो कि गाड़ी छोड़ दो मैं भी छोड़ दूंगी ये जो सुन रहे हैं ना सब बोल रहे हैं आपकी गाड़ी मैंने रोकी है तो आप क्यों लेकर गए आप गाड़ी अभी बाहर ले जाएं वो मुझे कह रहे हैं मैं आपको झूठे तो रसालत के केस में बंद करा दूंगा तो अब मैं हल्फियां कहती हूँ कि मुझे बंद करा दो आप क्यों कर आपका 2022 का भी कस्टम का कार्ड नहीं है 23 का भी नहीं है मुझे दिखाए रिसीविंग देंगे रिसीविंग तो होगी ना कोई देखिए मेरी बात
This entire sequence, ladies and gentlemen, once again the lady is saying you didn't have the card, you are trying to bulldoze your way, you're trying to take an acquaintance into an area you're not supposed to take them, and if I stop you and I'm doing my job, you're threatening me with fake charges of blasphemy and saying that you will get the mullahs to come and cut me into pieces. And she says this video has gone viral. Pathikrit Payan, once again, this is how the entire blasphemy act is being misused to target minorities and put them into pressure. It's a female security officer at the Karachi International Airport.
Anand, they have weaponized, Anand, they have weaponized the blasphemy act to that extent that the mullahs can do anything, a common Pakistani can do anything against a minority and nothing will happen to that person. For example, if you look at the Salman Taseer incident, Salman Taseer only had mentioned that he wants a reform in the blasphemy law for which his security guard shot him dead and Mumtaz Qadri, the security guard, actually was hailed as a hero. So that is the kind of condition of Pakistan where radicalization and, religious extremist teaching has gone to that extent that this is the outcome. And today it is actually biting them back. Tehreek-e-Taliban, Anand, is the outcome of this kind of radicalized mentality that Pakistan has nurtured. And that is the reason they are facing all of this. Blasphemy law has been used to that extent to persecute, snatch properties of minorities, convert them, and no court will stand in favor of the minorities. And today Pakistan is being cursed by all those minorities who have been persecuted, looted, raped, murdered, and killed and maimed. That is the curse that Pakistan is facing today, and they'll continue to face that curse. Look at this lady. She's just doing his duty. And for doing her duty, this is the way they deal with her. And imagine if something like this would have happened in any other country, the West would have shouted. But they'll not do anything to Pakistan because Pakistan is a country which does that dirty job, and they'll keep on keeping. They will continue to throw
these
Pakistan,
videos should not only go viral, they should be made as an example and case in point and presented at the UNHRC. The next time Pakistan tries to raise a bogey or a rhetoric, these are the videos that need to be played. A Hindu girl being skinned alive, a Christian female security officer being threatened with blasphemy. We'll just quickly play that sequence out once again before we move on. More coming in from Pakistan after this. Let's listen to that sequence again.
आप लोगों के पास यही है कि चलो ये क्रिश्चियन है इसको हम ना तौहीन रसालत में जलील करते हैं तो कर दो
इज्जत होती है खाना पीना मरना जीना सब कुछ है हाँ उसमें तुमने एक इशू उठा लिया एक आदमी की इज्जत होती है।
चलो आप लोग
तो
सारे ना
उसने
लिख
कर
के
दिया।
दे दो कि गाड़ी छोड़ दो, मैं भी छोड़ दूंगी। ये जो सुन रहे हैं ना सब बोल रहे हैं। आपकी गाड़ी मैंने रोकी है तो आप क्यों लेकर गए? आप गाड़ी अभी बाहर ले जाएं। वो मुझे कह रहे हैं मैं आपको झूठे तो रसालत के केस में बंद करा दूंगा। तो अब मैं हल्फियां कहती हूँ कि मुझे बंद करा दो। आप क्यों कर? आपका 2022 का भी कस्टम का कार्ड नहीं है, 23 का भी नहीं है। मुझे दिखाए कहाँ है? रिसीविंग कराए, रिसीविंग देंगे। रिसीविंग तो होगी ना कोई। देखिए मेरी बात, इसका अगर मैंने गाड़ी रोकी है तो सलीम साहब कह रहे हैं झूठे तुमने गालियां के केस में बंद कराऊंगा। अब ये तौहीन रसालत के केस में बंद करवाएंगे तो आपकी गाड़ी अंदर जाएगी, वरना नहीं जाएगी। आप गाड़ी निकालें वरना मैं एपीएम को कॉल लगा दूंगी। गाड़ी निकालें आप।
Stanza ground says do what you can. I'm going to do my job. You want to get the mullahs, you want to file a case against me, do that. That's what she does. But this is happening in a country which is in financial doldrums, ladies and gentlemen. Their international bullion, their international reserves, forex reserves have actually sunk from $7 billion, shrunk from $7 billion to $4.5 billion. Pakistan is on the verge of an economic collapse at this moment. Forex reserves have dropped to $4.5 billion, threatening imports. Pakistan has returned $1 billion to 2 foreign banks and $1.2 billion to 2 UAE banks, to the UAE banks. So that money that had come from the Gulf, from the Middle East, that money seems to have gone back. And $4.5 billion forex reserves can only finance 25 days of imports. So there are companies which are actually shutting down in Pakistan at this point. Pakistan witnessing scarcity of medicines and medical equipment. International domestic firms are unable to access lines of credit. Rising costs, low demand forcing domestic firms to shut down. 8 top manufacturing firms are downsizing or ending operations in Pakistan at this point. Pathikrit Payan continues to stay on with us. This is a nation that is in financial doldrums. It is sinking and it's in a quagmire, and this is quicksand that we are seeing at this point, and it's sinking fast. But they continue to push the rhetoric. They just don't want to mend their ways, and the rich there, the affluent there, the polity there continues to maintain a lavish lifestyle. You know, one of their ministers taking a private jet to go just a short distance, while the poor there are lamenting the lack of medical supplies and even basic infrastructure. That video is also going viral, Pathikrit. This is the status of Pakistan right now.
Interesting, Anand. They still don't realize that the condition of Pakistan is because of the sheer lack of education and the scientific mindset. Secondly, their inflation has gone up to 40%. As you mentioned about their foreign exchange reserve, that is still all based on borrowed money. Their public debt is 80% of their GDP. They're still asking for loan from United Nations for the flood. They're asking for $16 billion for that. Interestingly, that money will be siphoned off also. You know, there have been 13 times the IMF have bailed out Pakistan. There is no record as to how that money has been used and how much of that has been siphoned off. So, you know, whether it is a flood, whether it is terrorism, or whether it is any kind of financial distress, the elite of Pakistan asks for money, and the money comes. The Americans and the West pays that money, and the money goes out to Swiss banks and elsewhere. Somebody buying a bungalow. The people of Pakistan still don't realize that they have been used as pawn. They have been radicalized just to be used as pawn, and they continue to suffer. Still, they don't realize that if India has risen, the rise of India is because of its education policies, is because of its importance that they've given to economic reforms rather than religious extremism. This is what the West must understand, that they should stop bailing out Pakistan's deep state, because the deep state keeps on borrowing money, keeping Pakistan in the doldrum, and instead of giving education to the people, they use those illiterate, impoverished people to be converted into terrorists.
Four to six decades now, if not more, Pakistan has played the geolocation card, and it has played it with China, it has played it with the Americans, and it will once again try and rake that card up even with the OIC. That's what it has played. And if there is again a trouble in Afghanistan that is triggered, Pakistan will suddenly find itself strategically relevant, and the dollars and the money will start flowing into this failed nation. That is the danger, and that's why I said that this is something that once somebody wades into, it's a bottomless bucket. Pathikrit Payan, thank you. Thank you for your inputs and thank you for joining us here on the Nation at 5. We'll take a very, very short break. We turn the spotlight closer home towards the south of India, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Plenty of politics and ideological fights brewing. Stay with us.
Buried under the dishes. And the spot, when building collapsed, they might have died. So after a rescue of 5 hours, we were able to recover the bodies.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will flag off Ganga Vilas cruise on January 13. Preparations are currently underway and the excitement is high among people. The people of Varanasi believe that this cruise will be very helpful in attracting tourism and consider it as PM's gift to Kashi. The cruise will cover a distance of nearly 4,000 kilometers in 50 days.
ये विश्व का सबसे बड़ा जल यात्रा है और हम लोगों का सौभाग्य कि ये काशी से चालू हो रहा है कि बनारस से चालू हो रहा है और ये बनारस से चल के जो इसमें कई देशों के नागरिक रहेंगे तो ये एक विश्व में एक अलग संदेश जाएगा ये जो काशी जल यात्रा चल रही है और बनारस का पर्यटक इससे काफ़ी हद तक बढ़ा हुआ है।
यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हमेशा कुछ नया करते हैं, अलग करते हैं और वो इसकी शुरुआत कर रहे हैं। पर्यटन के क्षेत्र में इतिहास रचा जा रहा है।
Madhya Pradesh CM Shivraj Singh Chauhan hosted a dinner for the NRIs who've arrived for the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is to be held from January 8th to 10th in Indore. Around 500 NRIs are taking part in the meet. Remember, Friends of MP was formed during Shivraj's US visit in 2016.
मध्य प्रदेश की 8.5 करोड़ जनता की ओर से हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं। आप सबका अभिनंदन।
उधर हो जाओ भैया, सिक्योरिटी वाले को।
मध्य प्रदेश देश का दिल है और आप मध्य प्रदेश के दिल के टुकड़े हैं। हाँ, कब से हम इंतजार कर रहे थे आप।
Amid Bharat Jodo Yatra, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi watched a kabaddi match in Haryana's Karnal. He was accompanied by senior party leaders including Bhupinder Singh Hooda, KC Venugopal, Kumari Selja and Dipinder Hooda. Remember, the Yatra will enter Punjab through Shambhu border on Jan 10th. After entering Punjab, the march will head to Fatehgarh Sahib. While the cold wave has gripped North India, for Congress supporters, the cold is no bar as they danced shirtless amid dense fog during the Bharat Jodo Yatra in Haryana's Karnal. The lowest temperature recorded was 9 degrees in Karnal. Rahul Gandhi has also gained the spotlight for taking part in the Yatra in nothing but a white t-shirt amid a persistent cold wave. The Auto Expo 2023 will be held at Expo Mart in Greater Noida. The automobile lovers will see an active participation of Cartist of Jaipur. This artist associated with Cartist will convey the message of sustainability through automobile artwork to save the planet. This time, the attraction in this Auto Expo will be the Ambassador car made from scrap, an e-waste car, and 4 EV scooters designed by Cartist on different themes.
मेन मकसद ये है, इस बार हम लोग ऑटो एक्सपो में अपनी पवेलियन में कई सारे इंस्टॉलेशंस दिखा रहे हैं। जैसे कि आपने अंदर देखा था कि हमने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्लेट्स, ईवी प्लेट्स, जो चिप्स हैं जिसके लिए इंडस्ट्री अभी है ना बहुत ज़्यादा सर्वाइव, कोविड टाइम पे है ना प्रोडक्शन रुक गया था, लेकिन उसका एंड मतलब कि इसका ना हमारे पास कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं है जिससे हम ना उसको स्क्रैप कर सकें। तो उसको एड्रेस करने के लिए भी हमने कई सारे इंस्टॉलेशन बनाए। तो मेन मकसद सस्टेनेबल सोल्यूशन की तरफ ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री का रुझान लाने के लिए।
Delhi has recorded minimum temperature of 1.9 degrees Celsius as the national capital reels under severe cold wave. A thick layer of fog covered Delhi and its adjoining areas, lowering the visibility. Around 20 flights from the Indira Gandhi International Airport and 42 trains have been delayed due to the foggy weather.
Delhi has recorded its lowest temperature of this season with Safdarjung at 1.9 degrees Celsius. Also, this is the lowest which the national capital has achieved for this winter season. If we talk about the visibility, it is as low as 50 meters in Delhi. Currently, we are reporting from the Kartavya Path area. These are the visuals we are showing you on CNN News 18, that how a dense layer of fog has completely covered the capital city.
With the prevailing cold wave across North India, a normal life has taken a hit across the northern part of India. In fact, due to the prevailing foggy conditions, a lot of trains are being delayed. And in fact, as per Northern Railways, trains bound to the national capital, around 42 trains, such trains have been delayed. The Northern Railways have maintained that 42 trains which are delayed on the Sunday morning are being delayed for around 4 to 5 hours.
Odisha CM Naveen Patnaik, along with Union Ministers Jyotiraditya Scindia and Dharmendra Pradhan, inaugurated direct flight services from Bhubaneswar.
Back on the nation at 5 with the latest coming in from Tamil Nadu, where there was ruckus in the Tamil Nadu Assembly at the opening session today. And this was soon after the governor completed his inaugural, the opening speech, the governor's address. Soon after he started the speech, slogans were being raised. The governor walked out of the assembly even as Chief Minister M.K. Stalin moved a resolution urging the speaker to relax Rule 17 and retain the speech prepared by the state government as part of the governor's customary address, because the governor had skipped some of the paragraphs in that address while making the speech or reading the speech. And this comes in the wake of the Tamil Nadu renaming controversy, where the governor said that Tamilagam will be more appropriate name for the state rather than Tamil Nadu. Now, DMK's ally VCK has announced that they will protest against the governor on the 13th of January. Let's listen to some of the reactions. Well, we've got Purnima Murli joining us live at this point. Purnima, clearly there was ruckus, the governor not reading certain passages or paragraphs which were put there. And now is this fight really just CM Stalin versus the governor R.N. Ravi, or has it now taken the political ideological dimensions?
Well, with the allies of the DMK also now urging that the governor be withdrawn at the earliest, and also staging protests, inviting like-minded parties. It's now ideology versus governor, and it's not just the ruling party versus the governor, because initially the DMK said that many bills, including the bill to ban online gaming, all these are still pending before the governor. But now, looking at the kind of political statements and the outrage that in fact that we've seen over the last couple of days, is all about DMK and its allies versus the governor, and allies now planning a mega protest, saying that this is not the only state where a non-BJP ruled state where there's rift between the ruling party and the governor. It's happening in other states, and in Tamil Nadu also it's only worsening by the day. That's the word that's coming in from the allies of the DMK, and we've seen how drama unfolded earlier today with allies of the DMK boycotting governor's speech, and then TN Chief Minister passing a resolution against the governor's speech, saying some of them were ignored by the governor despite getting clearance from the governor. So we can only see this, the war of words intensify in the coming days.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Purnima. Ramaswamy Mayappan is also with us. Ramaswamy Mayappan, till 6:30 p.m. on Thursday or Friday, when Governor R.N. Ravi's speech went viral, about where he suggested that it should be Tamilagam rather than Tamil Nadu, drawing from history. Till that evening, the Chief Minister himself on his Twitter handle had the word Tamilagam. The DMK also used Tamilagam very actively. Suddenly it became a pariah word.
See, there are two issues. One that we first have to look at in terms of the word Tamil Nadu and Tamilagam. Like you clearly said, Tamilagam is an adopted word widely. You've seen its use in Purnanuru, in Nettuthogai, and so on historically. And even as recently in Kalaignar Karunanidhi's, after his demise, whenever he was honored, they said Tamilagam will honor his request, and that's how the floral arrangement is made. We've seen that even on 1st January 2023. That has been tweeted by the DMK IT wing and the DMK's official Twitter handle, Arivalayam. So will that be the case? They have accepted and they have adopted and they have used Tamil. Today, I think it's merely political that they want to raise this issue with the governor. The governor is not saying do not use Tamil Nadu. In fact, if you see today's address, he has used Tamil Nadu on 2 occasions and in the title of the speech. So he's used it effectively on 3 occasions. So he's not opposed to the use at all. He's asking maybe Tamilagam may be an appropriate use. That is all. It's a concern that he's placing. It's for appropriate people to consider. If the legislature thinks that they can go through the renaming exercise, they may consider that. He's not asking for a renaming exercise right away. That's one. And now going to the next, what happened today in the Legislative Assembly. See, protocol and convention may dictate one. Protocol and convention only says that the governor will have to read the vision document of the government because they're the elected government in office. Their vision document will have to be read as is. Their vision and what they propose to do for the state has not changed. But what were their political assertions? They are also part of the executive. All of them form part 6 of the constitution. The governor, the chief minister, and the council of ministers. So once they get to office, they're all my representatives. I expect all three to perform their job as executives and do the same. One cannot say that they will hold to their political ideology as executive, while the governor cannot. The rule will have to be the same for all three. That's the only position. And another thing that comes from today is there is a provision under the Legislative Assembly rules in Tamil Nadu, under Rule 17, where the governor's speech is provided. There can be a debate on the same. At the point in time of the debate, resolutions could have been moved, objections could have been brought about. That wasn't done. The chief minister interjected. Ruckus was caused during his address. If ruckus is taken up, ruckus takes place during the address, under Rule 17, the speaker will have to take immediate action. Will the speaker take action against those who created ruckus rather than debate?
No, but the fact is, what is it that the governor had omitted? The kind of passages that were inserted there. Now, these passages, were they deliberately inserted? And did they should they have been? Was it driven by politics? So the question also is: did the chief minister and the House respect the constitutional position of the governor, or did they want to compromise it? And now that the governor has decided not to read it, not to read these passages, should they then use their might and clout in the Vidhana Sabha to try and go back to the original speech which was not read by the governor? See, because some of the passages very clearly put out what they say is that though we may fall, Tamil should flourish. Yes. Is taking all steps to protect the rightful place of the Tamil language. So he omitted this part. He also said regarding the use of official language, this House has already passed a resolution against steps that are detrimental to the interests of all state languages, including Tamil. This government will continue to urge that all state languages should be accorded the official language status. Now, can a governor actually make this statement? Can he actually read this part of the speech?
Certainly not. See, that's precisely what I said. There is one more thing that you will have to follow up today. Normally, once the governor's address goes live, immediately both the governor's website and the legislature website puts it up as part of the press release. Today, for the first time, officially it's only been given to the press. It's not part of the official release open to the public. The public have only been given a 2-page statement that talks about what happened today. The governor was given such and such a document. The governor skipped these things. The governor has not read out the entire report. That's the 2-page report that's available for the public to read. They do not have the entire address of the governor unless and otherwise obtained through press channels. So the public today cannot decipher for themselves as to what is appropriate and what is not appropriate in that entire address. So if the state's intention and the secretariat's intention is to ensure the public have the right record in place, they should have made it public already.
Well, we'll take this up later tonight at the right stand, on the right stand at 8 p.m. Thank you for your inputs, Ramaswamy Mayappan. Moving across to a big development, a second show cause notice has now been issued to Air India by the DGCA over the incident on the Air India flight AI-142 from Paris to New Delhi on the 6th of December 2022. So this is outside. This is the other incident. The first incident happened on the 26th of November. This is the second incident that happened on the 6th of December. And there were 2 incidents of passenger misbehavior. One passenger was caught smoking in the lavatory, was drunk and not listening to the crew. Another passenger allegedly relieved himself on a vacant seat and the blanket of a fellow female passenger when she went to the lavatory. The Air India did not report the incident until the DGCA sought the incident report from them in January. Ridhima now joins us with more details. Ridhima, but on the 6th December issue, when we had earlier discussed this, you had said that the airline did file a report or an incident report with the CISF. Now DGCA is saying that they did that only when DGCA asked about it.
Well, that's correct, Anand, and this is actually there's a pattern that's now emerging, because even on the 26th of November episode, the DGCA said that they came to know about the episode only on the 4th of January, and they're saying something similar in the other episode which took place on the 6th of December as well. What is even more horrific is now we're understanding that there were 2 episodes on that one particular flight. So as you rightly pointed out, one was a case of a passenger smoking in the lavatory, was ticked off by the crew, and the other was of this man who relieved himself on the blanket of a passenger. But look at the words that have been used by the DGCA. In the first case, they had said that Air India was unprofessional as far as the crew behavior is concerned. Here they are saying it was lackadaisical and delayed once again. So second show cause notice that has now been issued to Air India. They'll of course have to now constitute another internal probe and then get back to the DGCA. In the meantime, the DGCA is also asking for the airline to decide on what is the kind of penalty that they want to decide with for the particular passenger. This can of course result from a 0-day ban to a lifetime ban.
Right, thank you for your input, Ridhima. We're going to take a very short break here on The Nation at 5. Stay with us.
Further investigation into this matter is on.
ये मुख्यमंत्री जी आ रहे हैं, माहौल बिगाड़ने के लिए ऐसा किया गया है, दूसरा कोई बात नहीं। जिला का माहौल खराब किया जाए, इसीलिए देखे हैं तो वे बताएंगे, FIR करेंगे तो खुद बताएंगे, अलग कोई बात है। लेकिन माहौल खराब करने के लिए ऐसा किया गया, ये हम प्रशासन से क्या आप लोग चाहते हैं? प्रशासन तो हर वक्त जो भी क्राइम करता है उसको पकड़ कर जेल प्रशासन भेजती है, ये भी जो क्राइम किया है वो जेल जाएगा।
The Assam police intercepted a car and nabbed 2 drug peddlers and 1 other person near Assam's Jatinga area. The police have recovered 42 narcotic capsules that weigh 20 grams, which the accused kept in small plastic containers. The police have been keeping an eye on the nexus in order to catch them.
एक प्लास्टिक बोतल में मिला था, वहाँ पे छुपा के रखा था। तो टोटल 42 जो छोटा कंटेनर्स है वो मिला है और वेट करने के बाद उसका अराउंड 20 ग्राम्स जैसा मिला है। जितना जो ऑपरेशंस चला रहे थे तो अलग अलग आदमी था, तो उनका जो सोर्स है या किसी का कुछ कांटेक्ट है उस हिसाब से हम लोग जैसे नज़र रखे हुए थे, जैसे इन्फॉर्मेशन मिला कि ऐसा ऐसा ला सकते हैं, तो उस हिसाब से हम लोग ये ऑपरेशन किया तो आज सक्सेसफुल हुआ।
2 workers died and 3 people were rescued after portions of concrete slabs of an under-construction building collapsed in Hyderabad's Kukatpalli. Out of the 3 people rescued, 1 worker sustained minor injuries. The injured worker was shifted to a nearby hospital. The municipal corporation also issued a show-cause notice to the building owner for deviating from the sanctioned permit plan.
ERF local teams and also other local people helped us to clear all the debris. The 5 people was on the top of the building at the time of collapse, and 3 were rescued safely, and 2 people were buried under the debris. And the spot when building collapsed, they might have died. So after a rescue of 5 hours, we were able to recover the bodies.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will flag off Ganga Vilas cruise on January 13. Preparations are currently underway and the excitement is high among people. The people of Varanasi believe that this cruise will be very helpful in attracting tourism and consider it as PM's gift to Kashi. The cruise will cover a distance of nearly 4,000 kilometers in 50 days.
ये विश्व का सबसे बड़ा जल यात्रा है और हम लोगों का सौभाग्य कि ये काशी से चालू हो रहा है, कि बनारस से चालू हो रहा है और ये बनारस से चल के जो इसमें कई देशों के नागरिक रहेंगे, तो ये एक विश्व में एक अलग संदेश जाएगा। ये जो काशी जल यात्रा चल रही है और बनारस का पर्यटक इससे काफ़ी हद तक बढ़ा हुआ है।
यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हमेशा कुछ नया करते हैं, अलग करते हैं और वो इसकी शुरुआत कर रहे हैं। पर्यटन के क्षेत्र में इतिहास रचा जा रहा है।
Madhya Pradesh CM Shivraj Singh Chauhan hosted a dinner for the NRIs who've arrived for the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which is to be held from January 8th to 10th in Indore. Around 500 NRIs are taking part in the meet. Remember, Friends of MP was formed during Shivraj's US visit in 2016.
अपनी ओर से केवल नहीं, मध्य प्रदेश की 8.5 करोड़ जनता की ओर से हृदय से स्वागत करता हूँ। आप सबका अभिनंदन।
उधर हो जाओ भैया, सिक्योरिटी वाले।
मध्य प्रदेश देश का दिल है और आप मध्य प्रदेश के दिल के टुकड़े हैं।
हाँ,
कब से हम इंतजार कर रहे थे आप।
During Bharat Jodo Yatra, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi watched a kabaddi match in Haryana's Karnal. He was accompanied by senior party leaders including Bhupinder Singh Hooda, KC Venugopal, Kumari Selja and Dipinder Hooda. Remember, the yatra will enter Punjab through Shambhu border on Jan 10th. After entering Punjab, the march will head to Fatehgarh Sahib. While the cold wave has gripped North India, for Congress supporters, the cold is no bar as they danced shirtless amid dense fog during the Bharat Jodo Yatra in Haryana's Karnal. The lowest temperature recorded was 9 degrees in Karnal. Rahul Gandhi has also gained the spotlight for taking part in the yatra in nothing but a white t-shirt amid a persistent cold wave. The Auto Expo 2023 will be held at Expo Mart in Greater Noida. The automobile lovers will see an active participation of Cartist of Jaipur. This artist associated with Cartist will convey the message of sustainability through automobile artwork to save the planet. This time, the attraction in this Auto Expo will be the Ambassador car made from scrap, an e-waste car, and 4 EV scooters designed by Cartist on different themes.
मेन मकसद ये है, इस बार हम लोग ऑटो एक्सपो में अपनी पवेलियन में कई सारे इंस्टॉलेशंस दिखा रहे हैं। जैसे कि आपने अंदर देखा था कि हमने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्लेट्स, ईवी प्लेट्स जो चिप्स हैं, जिसके लिए इंडस्ट्री अभी है ना बहुत ज़्यादा सर्वाइव, कोविड टाइम पे है ना प्रोडक्शन रुक गया था, लेकिन उसका एंड मतलब कि इसका ना हमारे पास कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं है जिससे हम ना उसको स्क्रैप कर सकें। तो उसको एड्रेस करने के लिए भी हमने कई सारे इंस्टॉलेशन बनाए। तो मेन मकसद सस्टेनेबल सोल्यूशन की तरफ ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री का रुझान लाने के लिए।
Delhi has recorded minimum temperature of 1.9 degrees Celsius as the national capital reels under severe cold wave. A thick layer of fog covered Delhi and its adjoining areas, lowering the visibility. Around 20 flights from the Indira Gandhi International Airport and 42 trains have been delayed due to the foggy weather.
Delhi has recorded
Back on with the development in the Honorable Supreme Court, where time has been given until February for all parties to respond, especially the centre to respond on the challenge to the Places of Worship Act 1991. Multiple petitions, including that of Dr. Subramanian Swamy, which said that you should leave Kashi and Mathura out of the Places of Worship Act, plus the very contours of the Places of Worship Act and whether or not it's bad in law, that being challenged by Ashwini Upadhyay and other pleas. But the Supreme Court has given the centre time till the end of February to file an affidavit to clear its stand. Consultation process is currently on within the government. The AIM, PLB and the Jamiat have questioned the centre for prolonging filing of an affidavit and at the same time trying to change the status quo in Kashi and Mathura. Ananya Bhatnagar now joins us live with more details. So plenty of drama, arguments, counters, challenges being made. But what did the SG have to say on behalf of the centre?
Well, you know, Anand, this matter, whenever it reaches the court, there's a lot of drama and high-level arguments that takes place between the petitioners and also the respondents. So what has happened at this point of time is that the Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, has told the court clearly that it needs more time to basically file a reply to these particular petitions because the consultation process is going on with various state governments. And if you remember, there was a preliminary reply that was filed by the central government in the first place, wherein it had said that a consultation process is going on because there are a lot of acts that need to be studied and the act has to be revisited completely when it comes to the challenge to this particular act. So this is the stand of the central government at this point of time. But the important development that has taken place today is that the AIM, PLB and the Jamiat have accused the centre basically, saying that at one point of time they are saying that they need more time to file a reply, that they are in a consultation process. But on the other hand, they are trying to alter the status quo of Kashi and Mathura. It is a big statement coming in from AIM, PLB and also the Jamiat-e-Ulema Hind before the topmost court of the country. Apart from that, Mr. Kapil Sibal also raised some preliminary objections to these particular petitions, clearly saying that in fact the act cannot be challenged by way of a public interest litigation. The court has said that it will be hearing the objections on the next date of hearing first and then would proceed on with hearing the particular matter. So definitely a big claim being made by the AIM, PLB and the Jamiat. However, the centre clearly saying that it needs more time and consultation is currently underway. Anand.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for your inputs, Ananya. And before we wind up this edition of The Nation at 5, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. This year's theme was Diaspora, Reliable Partner. partners for India's progress in Amritkal. This meeting formally inaugurated by the Prime Minister today. It's happening in Indore, and he was welcomed by the Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan at the airport. Listen into a short excerpt of his address.
भाइयों और बहनों, यहाँ उपस्थित प्रत्येक प्रवासी भारतीय अपने अपने क्षेत्रों में असाधारण उपलब्धियों के साथ अपने देश की माटी को नमन करने आया है। और ये प्रवासी भारतीय सम्मेलन मध्य प्रदेश की उस धरती पर हो रहा है जिसे देश का हृदय क्षेत्र कहा जाता है। व्यावसायिक संबंध कैसे साझी समृद्धि के रास्ते खोल सकती है, भारत ने और भारतीयों ने करके दिखाया। विदेश में रहने वाले भारतीय मूल के लोगों की, प्रवासी भारतीयों की जिम्मेदारी भी बहुत बढ़ जाती है। आपके पास आज भारत के बारे में जितनी व्यापक जानकारी होगी, उतना ही आप दूसरों को भारत के बढ़ते सामर्थ्य के बारे में बता पाएंगे।
Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zaka Jacob. Joshimath, which is the hill town, the last base point, as it were, in the trek towards Kedarnath and Badrinath, the holy shrines, is today a sinking town. As the new year dawned, more than 600 buildings across the town have developed massive cracks. Homes and hotels had to be evacuated on an emergency basis. Even the Prime Minister spoke to the Chief Minister and assured him of all help. But was this a disaster foretold? Could this rampant infrastructure development in the area be the reason for the sinking of this ecologically sensitive town? We'll have a live report by our reporter from Joshimath. But first, the story of how an ecologically sensitive town became the latest casualty of rampant infrastructure development.
Joshimath, a town built on natural landslide debris in Uttarakhand's Chamoli district, now brought to the brink. The roads have developed large cracks, and so have more than 600 houses due to the ground slowly sinking over the years.
This is one of the house in Joshimath town where we are reporting from. You can see clearly that some of the support, wooden support, so to say, has been given in, in order to give a proper base to this particular area. And also, since you can see the red marks, these are the marks which have been done by the state administration. And these are some of the things which have been done in order for the safe evacuation. That means nobody is allowed to stay here. All the people outside their houses where the marks have been denoted, they have to vacate their house at the earliest.
Around 68 families have been moved to temporary shelters in safer areas.
हमने सभी लोगों से अनुरोध किया है कि ये समय सबको मिलजुल कर जोशीमठ को बचाने का समय है। प्रधानमंत्री जी भी लगातार इसकी समीक्षा कर रहे हैं, लगातार व्यक्तिगत रूप से वो जानकारी ले रहे हैं और उन्होंने हर संभव यहाँ पर मदद का हमको सहायता का आश्वासन दिया है कि हर प्रकार से सहायता होगी।
But residents say this issue is not a bolt out of the blue. In fact, it's something that they have been raising for years. Non-stop construction, hydropower projects and widening of national highways have made the slopes of Joshimath highly unstable in the last couple of decades. And then on the 5th of January, things literally reached a breaking point. Work was stopped at NTPC's Tapovan Vishnugad hydel project, following angry protests by residents in the wake of cracks appearing across the town. But the company claimed its 12-kilometer long tunnel had nothing to do with the latest land subsidence.
विशेषज्ञों की सलाह लिए, बिना स्थानीय लोगों को विश्वास में लिए इस तरह की तमाम परियोजनाओं को आपको अभी रोकना पड़ेगा। आप पर्यावरणविदों की, विशेषज्ञों की सलाह तो लीजिए।
Experts have recommended shutting down all development and hydroelectric projects in the region and relocating residents.
जोशीमठ के क्षेत्र में अभी हमने नगरपालिका क्षेत्र में और नियरबाई एरियाज में अभी सभी निर्माण कार्य अग्रिम आदेशों तक हमने अभी रोक लगा रखी है।
So is the disaster in Joshimath natural or is it completely man-made?
All right, let me go across first to my colleague Nikhil, who's joining us live from this town, Joshimath. Nikhil, I know it's dark now, but give us a sense. You've been speaking to a lot of people through the day today. What are the locals saying? Obviously, there's been rampant development. You need development on the one side as well. But at the same time, was this a disaster foretold? Multiple committees have been warning about it. What exactly happened suddenly this year on the 3rd of January, where a number of homes, at last count more than 600, suddenly developed these major cracks?
Well, Zaka, the situation continues to be grim in the Joshimath town of the Uttarakhand state. We have spoken to a number of residents who are affected for the same, and starting with the figures which have come out from the official department, close to 603 are the houses which are marked unsafe, and close to